I think it's mostly because Sojun picks up on the fact that Suho's feeling this girl. So he said, oh, I'm about to take your girl. I'm about to just slide through. I'm pretty sure that was his intention. And Ju-kyung don't. She's none the wiser. She has no idea what's going on as per usual, right? That's just going to be like the situation of the entire premise of this story, right? Ju-kyung don't never quite know what's going on. So as it goes, Sojun's like trying to push up on her and trying to learn about her and see like what can he do to get to her first before Suho, because he just don't want Suho to have nothing. You know, like, your happiness is moot. I'm gonna put my foot down right here because of you. Seon is gone, so you also not about to get this girl either. You're going to suffer. That's the type of time Sojun's on. He's kind of like on demon time a little bit, right? Suho kind of, he kind of peeps the game, and he was like, oh, okay, so you're trying to push up on her because you don't want her to be with me. Well, you know what? Too bad for you. We're already friends, and I know things about her that you don't even know, so you're not even be able to kind of get in the mix on this one. It's too solid over here, whatever. So they're having a little personal war going back and forth, right? Well, as it were, the more time Sojun spends with Ju-kyung, and he really starts to realize that she's actually like a really sweet, cute, bubbly girl. And he starts to actually gain feelings for her. So it's no longer just like well, I just don't want him to have her. Now it's just like, oh, I legit want to be with this girl, like, for real, for real. So whatever, and boom, that's the story, right? And then she has to choose. In the K-drama, she only dates Suho. I'm missing something important here. Hold on. Okay, yeah, back up. So they pretty much go through high school doing this little tit for tat, going back and forth, being petty towards each other. Meanwhile, trying to get Ju-kyung to like them.
So pick me. Choose me. Love me.
But then Suho daddy Jo-hyun, who is living abroad, I think he's in America at the moment, he falls ill. He like collapses, whatever. The cameras are like, oh no, Ju-hyun has fallen ill. He's collapsed just right in front of the camera and caught it in 4K. Suho's sister, which is named Lee Selena, she happens to be a makeup artist, a very famous makeup artist that Ju-kyung looks up to because we always have to tie everything in, right? Okay, so she calls Suho and she was like, yo, we gotta punch, we gotta go be there with dad. And Suho's like, Suho hates his dad. Like, he don't have nothing to do like that. As far as Suho's concerned, that man is already dead. Is it filial piety?
Filial piety is a Confucian virtue of honoring the elders in your family. It is the awareness of repaying the burden borne by one's parents and is done to reciprocate the care of one's parents have given. It is also practiced because of an obligation towards one's ancestors.
We don't have that here in America. So because like filial piety, he's like, all right, well, I gotta go care for this man. I gotta go and like make sure that he gonna make it and like, nurse him back to health and all that, like whatever. So he jumps on the plane and he goes to America. Now at this point, we gotta talk about the airport scene, because I think it happens in both the K-drama and the webtoon, right? So Suho never quite tells Ju-kyung his feelings for her. She never quite tells her feelings for him, because in these kinds of situations, we don't communicate ever. And Sojun knows good and well that he feels for her and she feels for him, and he also wants her to feel for him, but he's not quite sure if she does, and if she does, then it's not more than Suho. It's giving very much Edward versus Jacob, right? So Suho gets her like a little gift. It was like either a bracelet, a necklace, some sort of jewelry, something, and he intends to give it to her and confess. Like, okay, so if you guys don't know what confess means, it just means that saying that, like, I like you. I like you and I want you. So he was planning on doing that, but he never gets around to doing it because, I don't know, I think nerves got in the way. And then he was also like, well, it's crazy for me to confess and then immediately jump on the plane and leave, and I don't know how long I'm about to be gone for. So he just tucks that away in his pocket, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna hold this L. I'm not about to spill the beans to her and then leave, because like, who does that help? Which, you know, well reasoned, that's valid, I guess. So then he leaves, and they both see him off, right? So at this point, Suho and Sojun like they've mended it a little bit. They, at some point, they do sit down and they talk, and they get everything out on the table. Suho says everything that he was going through, what he was feeling, and what he's still feeling, and the guilt that he still carries with him to this very day. And Sojun says everything that he needed to say and how he did hold him accountable, but now he realizes that that's not fair, and he didn't realize like everything that he was going through at the time. He just knew that what he was feeling, and so they, you know, they set it all out, they squash it, and now they're like best friends again, which before we get back to the airport, I thought that was far more interesting story for them to have had this, you know, like a bromance, if you will, of like a trio of best friends, and then just tragedy hits. The most awful thing happens. They fall apart. They hate each other. They have all of this animosity, and then they finally have a heart-to-heart. What happened for them to have a heart-to-heart? I'm picking my brain here. I want to say that one of them got hurt. I think it was Suho. I think Suho got like hit by a bus or something. Child, yes, a bus. This is a K-drama. Keep up. I want to say that he was pushing somebody out the way. It might even be Ju-kyung for real. He was saving somebody and got hit by, mowed down. I'm talking Regina George, honey. I'm pretty sure that that's what happened in the webtoon. Okay, it might have been slightly different in the K-drama. They might have did it, but in the webtoon, that's what happened. And Ju-kyung is at the hospital, like beside herself. She's like, oh my god, what do I do? And I think she called Selena, maybe, but she do call Sojun, and Sojun is like, he loses his mind. He was like, what the fuck? What happened? And at this point, they're still not cool, mind you. They're like still competing, right? But she knows. She's like, I gotta call Sojun. So she calls him, and he's like, what happened? He is losing it, honey. And she was like, he got hit by a bus, and like he was saving me. And he was like, what did you do to get my man's hit by a bus? And she was like, well, I didn't like mean it. I don't know if she was like lollygagging, somebody was lollygagging, or I want to say there was something like apples. I don't know. He was pushing somebody out the way. Whatever. Anyway, he gets hit by a bus, and she was like, you gotta come to the hospital. So he hangs up and he fucking runs there. I mean, Superman couldn't have got him there fast enough. So he gets there. He throw the door open, and he's like, oh my god. And he was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not. I don't have it in me. I actually don't have enough left. You better not. I swear to God, you better not. So he sits with him for like days or whatever. And I think at this point, maybe Suho might be in a coma. It's a K-drama, keep up. So he might be in a coma a little bit, and Sojun is sitting like he's not leaving his side. And he like brings him food or something like that. And when he do wake up, he's like feeding him the soup. I think, again, I read this years ago. And then Suho was like, what are you doing here? And he was like, why would I not be here? And he was like, because nigga, we're not friends. And he was like, yes, the fuck we are. We've been through too much, and I'm not doing this again. You are going to get better, because I swear to God. So then they like, I think it's at that point that they kind of like hash things out and then get through it and get past it. Now, in the K-drama, I think it happens slightly different, maybe. And I remember in the K-drama, they both end up getting, okay, no. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll circle back to that. Fucking dumb ass. Right, so anywho, so they squash it and they come back to being best friends, and at this point they're like inseparable. They're hanging out, they're doing this, that, and the third, and people in school are like, oh, I guess they're not warring anymore. I guess it's cool. I guess they back on track or whatever. So June's not getting in as much trouble, because I think that was all of that was just connected to the grief that he was going through, whatever. So they've turned over a new leaf. So then we jump back over to the airport, and this is when Sojun was like, yeah, they really do feel for each other or whatever, but he ain't say nothing though, and he's leaving, so it's not really a betrayal, right? Because he didn't make it seem like he was coming back anytime soon for her to be like, well, you know, wait for me kind of thing. So he leaves. And she crying in the airport, honey, and Sojun is like, come on, Jookyung, let's go. So they leave or whatever. Now in the webtoon, we do a time skip, and I want to say Suho's gone for a minute, like maybe a year or two. Like he hit it for real. He got a brand new life in America at this point. And so June, you know, still has these feelings for Jookyung, and Jookyung, while she's, you know, very much on her Bella tip, like, everywhere I go, I see Suho, I'm reminded of him, nobody's him. Sojun though, you know, she does give Buddy a chance. But here's where things kind of get sticky and fall apart. Sojun goes ahead and decides to become an idol again. Now how does this happen? Well, he sang somewhere and somebody heard it. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was singing somewhere and someone recorded it, or maybe Jookyung recorded it and uploaded it or something, whatever. So he's on YouTube and he's going viral, and people are like, oh my god, he's so beautiful, he sounds so good, I can't believe he not an idol, whatever. And Jookyung's sister Hee-kyung is a talent scout, I think, or something, and she works at one of the companies, whatever. So she was like, yo, let me put you in touch with my people, you need to be doing this is your calling. And he's like, all right, I might get back to it on the tip of I'm doing it for Seong, like in his steed, right? Like he couldn't do it, I'm gonna do this for him and like live out both of our dreams or whatever. So Sojun is a K-pop idol now, you guys. Yes. And you know what that means? That means that he cannot openly date anymore, right? So they're trying to keep it on the low. They're trying to keep it on the hush, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy. And he's very exhausted, you know what a K-pop idol's schedule. It's be up and going 24/7, even though they're still people. They're not robots. But it's like that, right? So he's doing all this and that and the third, and he's so busy, he's so tired, he's not even eating regularly, he's not sleeping, let alone trying to maintain a girlfriend, right? So Jookyung sees this, and I think she's starting to get like a little bit of bullying or whatever, because they try to be out or whatever, and people might spot them a little bit, and it's starting to get like it's just not working. So they end up breaking up, and Sojun is devastated. I mean, he is not doing well, honey. And Jookyung's not doing well, but she's like, she frames it on like, I have to break up with him for his sake, right? I don't want to like add on to the stress of things. Mind you, he still has never seen her without her face on. Oh yes, it is very different from the K-drama. We have diverged at this point, okay? In the webtoon, she's still very much afraid to be open with him and be like, this is who I am outside of my makeup. He's only ever this entire time, even whilst dating, okay, even through their like little best friendship, whatever. He's never seen her face before. Ridiculous. And it bugs me it bugs me on a personal level because I cannot relate. I just cannot. And maybe it's because I've never been mercilessly bullied before to the extent to where I'm so scared to show what my self looks like, not being done up, not having my hair done, not having my face on, not having like a nice outfit on, whatever. Because as you know, I've gotten on this camera looking like anything and everything, child. What? So to not even be able to have my actual self out in front of my man's, foreign concept, honey. Like, I know they not farting in front of each other at all. Like, this is a stuffy relationship for sure. So as it were, he's far more open with her to an extent than she has ever been with him. And it shows the difference to her comfortability with Suho versus her comfortability with Sojun. So sad. So they break up, right? It was a cute run. It lasted for a little bit, had beautiful gowns, but they break up. I don't think Ju-kyung was being entirely honest on the reasons why she broke up with him. And she broke up with him because she was starting to get some bullying going on, and she just felt like he didn't have time to be with her, and she just started to feeling like a burden, and this just wasn't what she wanted for her life. And she didn't say it like that, and it would have been better if she did, because at some point you just have to start being honest. Your whole life cannot be a lie, Ju-kyung. So she says what she says, which is something along the lines of this just isn't working out, and I'm not happy, or whatever it was. Whatever reason she gave wasn't the real reason, which is agitating. However, so he is crying. So he falls to his knees and he's like, baby, please don't go. Tears streaming down his face, and she's like, no, I must leave. And she just leaves him. She gets up and she leaves, and he's just crying in the park. I know, it's so sad.